Good morning. I hope all you guys are doing very well. At least for me, the loss against the Bills does nothing as far as who wins the AFC. So, from that regard, nothing will change. Just, I even am not going to rule out the Chiefs' chances for home field because if you look at the schedule for the Chiefs compared to the Ravens and the Dolphins. Well, the Dolphins lost last night, but then the Dolphins are due to beat some opponents coming up, including the Ravens for now, let's say, and including the Bills in the last week. But if you look at the Chiefs, they uh they are right there to get home field. All they have to do is beat the Patriots, the Raiders. I know the Bengals are doing much better with Browning in at quarterback, but let's just say that Mahomes is not going to lose to a Bengal team without Burrow, and then the Chargers season is practically over. I mean, Herbert, he had a dislocated pinky, if I'm not mistaken, so the Chiefs can easily win out, and then this would allow them the opportunity to do get a first round bye, but some things would have to happen. I can see if they have the playoff machine that ESPN runs every single year. I can go through it uh, game by game to kind of picture what would have to happen for the Chiefs to still get home field. Now, regardless if the Chiefs don't get home field, if the Chiefs don't get home field, I'm still gonna. The narrative will be that they can only win at Arrowhead. That he's never had to go on the road. So even if the Chiefs don't get home field, just I can't see blue-eyed, half-wide Patrick Mahomes losing to Lamar Jackson if it comes down to it. Now, Tua Tagliafield, he's probably got some Pacific Islander blood, whatever. He's from Hawaii, so Russell Wilson's not 100% black, and he won the Super Bowl. So obviously, something sinister has gone on throughout the course of decades, ever since Super Bowl 22 was the only year that a full-blooded black quarterback won the Super Bowl, referring to Doug Williams from the Washington football team. So anyway, here on the playoff simulator, I can and just so you can visualize, I'll probably have to do one with the OBS open broadcast software. But let's just say the Chiefs win every single game, okay? Because that schedule's pretty easy. And and if the Eagles start winning, if the Cowboys they'll probably win one out of two. They'll probably win one out of two. And if I had to anticipate, probably they lose to the Bills just so the NFL can say, hey, the AFC East may be up for grabs in Week 18. But then, with how many mediocre teams are, if the Bills win over the next couple weeks, then the Dolphins could win the division and the Bills could get some help to kind of clinch a last playoff spot. But here goes. Chiefs win every game. Let, and also the Jaguars are a tough opponent too. The Ravens have to face off against the Jaguars, so uh, that will also even if the Ravens could still win that game and the Chiefs could still be allowed home field. So let's say they win that game, and I'm let's say Dallas Cowboys can win 6 straight games outside of Arlington. So for now, in my projection, in my simulator, for week 15, once I find the Bills logo, okay. Bills can beat the Cowboys because, oh, Cowboys are frauds. They can't win in October. They can't win in December. And they'll say, hey, look out for the Bills. Look out for the Bills. And that's a good way to hype up the Bills Dolphins game for the end of the year. So I've got the Bills over the Cowboys just from a hyping and also LA Chargers 96. The Bills could go from 9-6 after beating the Cowboys, going to win their first Super Bowl since the year 96. So Buffalo, it's like, oh, cold weather, all that, whatever. Cowboys have run the ball. So there's some ingredients there for a Bills win over the Cowboys. The Cowboys won't really be traveling to cold weather games during January, although you never know if they face off against the Fraud Eagles again, because that is a fudge one team. So Dolphins beat the Jets right there. And this simulator is about home field. I think the big game there to look out for probably definitely Ravens Jaguars, but then Ravens 49ers too, especially if the Eagles keep on winning. So if you look at the Eagles, they'll probably beat the Giants, although you never know if Don DeVito continues to lead them to victory. Seahawks have fallen apart, so the Eagles going to win that game right there. I'll just do the 49ers there and just circle them in the simulator because we're trying to see what's going to happen for home field there. Um, we moving on. The Ravens 49ers. I think the Niners are obviously the team that Las Vegas is advertising. They're all pros. They cannot lose in the playoffs. They are sweeping the awards. They've all the all pros. But a very vulnerable Swiss cheese defense that is prone to be suspect. You never know some of these divisional games, or if the Cardinals play spoilers or something like that. But then again, what's going against the Eagles is the fact that the 49ers uh, have the head-to-head tiebreakers. So you know, will the Niners lose a game there? I mean, it's gonna be interesting to it's gonna be interesting to see. That's all I can say. It's gonna be very interesting to see how this unfolds. So yeah, okay, the Chiefs have won every game. Okay, the Dolphins face off against the Ravens, and that's another tough game too. I mean, what Dolphins get back into home field? I mean, that's a game that the Dolphins can win right there. And then let's see the Bill. I got to circle the Bills games too. Yeah, the Bills can beat the Patriots there. So yeah, it's about, and they're obviously gonna beat the Chargers. So they got some easy cupcakes coming up. I can see the Bills. You know, they're setting themselves up for seeding all that. Hey, if Buffalo goes to Jacksonville again, that'd be pretty interesting. Joe Flacco against the Ravens? Yeah, Joe Flacco against the Ravens. That's too good to pass up on. If Joe Flacco is still quarterbacking the Browns and they're going up against the Ravens, that's storybook material right there. But maybe Joe Flacco takes one for Baltimore and he has a bad playoff game, whatever. So yeah, Buffalo, Jacksonville, Cleveland, Baltimore. These are two very great playoff matchups. The Ravens can't get home field, so it's all really dependent on how the Miami Dolphins do. I guess, and then this will mean the Kansas City Chiefs have to go on the road to beat Miami. Because obviously the Dolphins are winning the division. Obviously the Dolphins will get the win over Buffalo the second time around. So yeah, okay, that Cowboy Dolphins game. If I had choose between the well, obviously it's the most rigged this season ever. If the Cowboys lose to both the Dolphins and the Bills, but then again, Dak is going to get his 18th win against the AFC at Vegas. So Cowboys obviously take one of these two games. So if the Cowboys beat the Dolphins, the Chiefs can get home field. So what would have to happen during all of the big games is the Niners beat the Ravens, the Dolphins beat the Bills, the Cowboys beat the Dolphins. The Ravens beat the Jaguars. That's probably how they're going to draw it up. Oh, Chiefs still get home field. They still get home field. They still get home field. Browns beat the Jets. Joe Flacco was with the Jets. Bills face off against Cleveland. Or let's see. I wonder if the Bills jump to fifth. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence get his first game, get his first win back in action against. Because he lost last week. Trevor Lawrence, he could try to get that first win ever since his injury against Baltimore. I mean, is this guy going over two straight weeks? I don't know. 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 I'm probably missing Jacksonville for this week. Oh, they got the Panthers. Which game am I missing for Jacksonville? Though they'll beat the Titans. Okay. Well. In that case, it looks like the Bills will be the sixth seed. What about the seventh seed? Who could face off against Miami? They probably want the Broncos. I bet. That'd be funny if the Broncos face off against the Dolphins again. That would. So yeah, obviously the 49ers get the number one seed. I'm most interested in who Dallas faces off. Probably against the Saints, I bet. How the Saints win the division. Because all these teams are all level. Probably the Saints and the Falcons will both win next week. It'd look really bad if the division leader is 6-8. I'm just saying. The Vikings have no quarterback, so I'll just say the Bengals gonna win that. Tampa and Green Bay. That's very interesting too, huh? Well, Green Bay's not a lock. Although number seven Green Bay against Dallas number two. They beat the Packers and the 49ers in the same playoffs. That'd be very interesting too. Okay, the Browns beat the Bears. They get the 12-5. Okay, maybe Browns have to lose one of their games coming up. Okay, I'll go the Texans over the Browns. There you go. That changes that right there. Okay, okay. The Joe Flacco against the Browns. That you cannot script it any better. Trevor Lawrence against a Josh Allen. Hey, that's a great matchup. They beat the Chiefs. They'll go ahead and give the Ravens a tough game. I got the Jaguars against the Ravens. They barely squeaked by against a mediocre Rams team. So hey, Broncos beat the Patriots. So you never know what happens with that team sometimes. I reckon the Falcons will probably beat the Colts. Hey, a Texans, CJ Stroud against Tua. I mean, why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? Some mafia shit going on. The Saints can lose to the Rams. It's like, oh, no one wants to win the South. No one wants to win the South. I guess Vikings can still lose and still kind of control their own destiny. So yeah, that's it. Although I can probably see the Broncos beating the Lions. Nothing will surprise me at this point. Let's stick the Lions there. Just based on the projection of the playoff simulator. It will already be penciled in. Now, world will just go upside down if DeVito's in the playoffs. Then that means something out of a movie. We're literally out of a movie. You try with my coffee eye? Chargers will lose every game, I bet. And just like the Texas Rangers, they're going to have to win on the road. I can see the Raiders spoiling the cold season. Why not? In all likelihood, the Cowboys finish with 13 wins, and Mike McCarthy finishes with 43 wins in the regular season as Cowboy coach for the start of the playoffs. Just a matter of which game they lose to. Losing the Buffalo would make the AFC East interesting during the week of Christmas. Hey, Broncos could beat the Raiders to clinch a playoff spot. I mean, first win the Raiders for quite some time. I think it's been 6 games already or so. Just saying. Yeah, still very possible for the Bills to miss the playoffs, especially if they lose to the Dolphins. And they may very well miss the playoffs, and that'll be a great thing because they'll need Jim Harbaugh to coach. Well, if the Cowboys beat the Bills, then the coach is definitely going to get fired. What's his name? McDermott. He's going to get fired. Falcons and Saints will have to be for the division, I bet you. Or it's interesting because whoever loses that game, they could get the wild card spot. Then the Saints beat the Rams. Eagles, fluke Eagles get a Mickey Mouse Falcons team, so the fraud team will kind of get a bye in the wild card round anyway. So they do make it to divisional round. Do they want to face off against the Cowboys? Do they want to face off against these team out there? It all depends on the on the matchups. I bet on the possibility. Probably scripted for Dak Prescott to beat the Saints. New Orleans Saints 64, 49ers 64, Kansas City Chiefs 64. Remember, the year is about him. It's about him because the season began at Giants. That's who he got injured against. So the season it definitely revolves around Dak Prescott. Nobody else. Nobody else it revolves around except for Dak Prescott. because he's going to go in there and he's going to upset the 49ers. Although if the Fraud Eagles win in the wild card round, they're just asking for ass whipping because that team is completely exposed. I can see the Eagles losing in the wild card round. Is this wild weekend? I think the Eagles are scared of the Cowboys. I know it's great for ratings, but if they really got battered by the Cowboys and the Niners in that magnitude that they did, they really want this team to go up against them again because we already know what about to go down right there. And this team is obviously going nowhere. What was it? First team to have that great record and they're losing by 20 plus points, whatever. The 2 straight weeks like that. I mean, that Fire Eagles fly is making history. What about the Packers? Look at the Fraud Eagles. They don't get ready for the playoffs. This is what we talking about right here. They have to face off against a crap Giants team. They have to go up against a Cardinals team that's thinking. They go up against the Giants again. This team is frauds, I tell you. They go up against a sea chicken team that lost their last 4 games or something like that. And when's the last time they lost to the Rams? They've lost to the Niners. They lost to the Cowboys. They lost to the Niners. Eagles have a fraud schedule. I bet the frauds could go down the wild card round if none of us want to see another ass whipping against Dallas or San Francisco in the divisional round. And it's just a no-figure league, and this is mafia. There'll be that one result that's, what? This happened? What? I can see it involving the Eagles. But there's so many crap, mediocre teams in the 7th spot. The Eagles might as well be getting a bye. Saints will win the division, even though they're going to sweat it out till last week. Remember, Dak is from Sulphur, Louisiana, so he'll win back at home. Then he'll get the win against the. Oh, it's January. I can't win at Philadelphia. That's the problem. So that'll be the narrative when the Cowboys face off against the Eagles. Is they can't win at Philadelphia. But they will win at Philadelphia. Because the Fraud Eagles won by inches. Remember that? Remember? It all depends on when the NFL wants the Cowboys to face off against the 49ers in the divisional round of the conference title game. I mean, Eagles are fun. So will they find a way to lose the division? And honestly, Cowboys will not win out. And the Dolphins would beat the Jets and the haters. Oh, the Dolphins, they haven't beat a team over 500. Oh, they haven't beat a real team yet. That will be the excuse when they beat the Dolphins. So the Dolphins haven't beat anyone this year. Haven't beat a team over 500. Of course, Dallas going to win that game. That's the excuse. That's the excuse. That's the excuse. So they'll lose to Buffalo. They'll beat the Dolphins. That's what's going to happen for the Cowboys coming up in these next couple weeks. So yeah, based on how I looked like I've done the simulator right here, the Cowboys Well, the numbers are already there. They face off in the division round, as I've already explained in October. But Mike McCarthy is gonna. If the Lions choke again, if the Lions choke in the playoffs again, if they're same old Lions, everyone loves the Lions, gonna place the bet on the Lions. Then that will allow Cowboys Niners to be possible because it's low seed against high seed. If Niners are number one, the Cowboys are five, then yeah, you will need an upset to see the Cowboys Niners in the NFC Championship game based off of that. Which one is going to be? The Cowboys Eagles and Cowboys Niners. Those are that brings the box office. That brings all the views and the popcorn. The Roger Goodell. But yeah, look at these teams. Well, I don't think Green Bay's not bad. I mean, they're not bad. They have a good coach. They have a good system of doing things. Yeah, the Falcons are a very bad team. They're very mediocre. There's a lot of mediocre play to go around the NFL nowadays. They'll beat the Saints. Oh, it's only the Saints. It's only the Saints. It's too easy. It's too easy. It is too easy. This is the setup how they want it to be. Oh, yeah, this is where mental gymnastics and the mind games are at to get off. The Chiefs get home field. The NFL wants the Chiefs win Super Bowl. Go to home field. Want to win Super Bowl. I think they got you what they want them to be if they play those mind games right there, those mental gymnastics. Oh, Chiefs get off the bye. They want them to win the Super Bowl. Oh, they'll never let that happen. They never will. Yeah, Cowboys will lose to Buffalo. They'll win in a fugazi fashion. They'll beat the Dolphins. Maybe that's when the Duron Bland pick six gonna happen on Christmas Eve right there over at Miami. The Cowboys clinch a playoff spot there, and the Chiefs won their first Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes, and now we'll make it to Las Vegas, and they are ready to shock the world.